Good day. In this video, we're going to learn how to create a security group and how you can implement the securities on a user. So the first thing, you would navigate to HR, then you go to security group. So you'll see this table right here. So if the user is already on the list, on the drop-down list here, you can just simply select them like that. Then here you select under which section do you want to restrict them. Is it the back office, the point of sale, or sensitive data? So in our case, we're going to create a new security group, and then we'll name it security, like that. And then you say confirm. So we have created our security group name. So now we have to select it on the drop down, which is security there. Then we're going to start with the back office there. So is by default, once you create a security group name, so here you won't have the person won't be allowed to enter the back office. As you can see, this is not ticked, but once if we tick that, this person will be allowed to the back office. And then when you click the tabs, you see what is allowed and what is not. So by default, that is everything here is allowed. So now it's up to you to select, is this person allowed to enter the back office or not? If they are allowed, what are they allowed to see and what are they not allowed to see? So if let's say we don't want them to see anything regarding stock, we would say untick that. So everything regarding stock they would not do. Then if we say we want them to see the stock, but we only want them to do certain things like add a stock item, edit a stock item, also if we want them to do stock adjustment or not. So if we don't want them to do stock adjustment, we just untick that as well. So whatever I want them to see, whatever I want them to do, you have to tick that to allow it to do what you have allowed it to do. So let's say if we want this person to create purchase orders, we'll tick that. If you want that person to convert the purchase order to a GRV, you also select that. If you don't want them to do anything regarding this section, you just untick that. Then you go to the second tab, the same thing as well. So if this person is allowed to add a supplier, edit a supplier, all those things. So if any of these things that person is not allowed to do, just untick the supplier section. Same thing under the datas, just untick if you don't want this person to do anything under the data section. So you do this on all of them regarding to what you want the user to see and not to see. So under the finance, you also untick that if this person is not allowed and what if they're allowed. So we go to point of sale section. So under the point of sale section, we'll see now, is this user allowed to even enter the point of sale section, or they only allowed to the back office side for specific reasons, or they are a cashier. So if they're a cashier, you can say for cashier. But let's say if there's something here that you don't want them to do, let's say we don't want them to log out, we'll just untick that. So meaning they cannot log out from the system without your supervisor's password there. So are they allowed to enter cash up totals? If they're not allowed, same thing, just untick. Are they allowed to open the drawer? If they're allowed, you leave it. If they're not allowed, you just untick it. So this won't work if they use a button on the point of sale section saying open cash drawer, because they don't have permission to do it. So when you go to the supervisors, so here is this person allowed to assign float to themselves. So if this user is allowed to assign float, you tick that. If they are not, just uncheck that. So same thing applies on these other checkboxes, where is this person allowed to do this or not allowed? Are they allowed to void? If yes, you can just tick void there, and it will allow this particular user to do voids. Same thing under management. Is this person allowed to refund? If not, untick. So whatever this user is allowed to do, you just need to tick it. The rest you can leave it as is if they're not allowed to do it. Same thing again on the sensitive data. Is this person allowed to do safe transfers? If not, untick. If they are, just select it again. Is this person allowed to view reports? Yes. If they are not, you just untick. So you do these simple steps just to restrict a user on what they are allowed to do and what they are not allowed to do. So we can easily save. Okay. Now let's quickly create a user and we test to see how these settings we have implemented on that particular user group, which like the things they'll be restricted on. So under the same HR, you can just say create employee. So for me, I'll say create new. Okay, you have to select there. I'll say that. Name, I'll say test. Okay, I'll also say test. I'll just put that. Under security group, you'll see under once you're creating the user here, the employee, you see there's a down arrow saying security group there. So just select the security group we created earlier for this user. So here we can put the user, the one we created. So password, you put your password there for the user. Then I'll just select that. So I'll say save. So okay. I'll close. So it's here we've created the user. So I'll click on it. See, forgot tick is cashier. So this will allow the cashier to do the user to do sales. So we save that. Okay. So now if we log out, then we log in using the user we created, which is this security. Say put in the password. So you see it's allowed them to log in, but the things we restricted them on the security group, they're not allowed. As you can see, it's saying not allowed to view section. Same here under the reports, you see it's not allowing them to click anything because they're not allowed to do anything. Okay, so under the sales reports, we never allowed them to view this, but some of these things we did allow them. That's why it opened. Under TO admin, we didn't restrict them under anything here. HR, we didn't restrict, but the things you want to restrict the user on, they're the things you're going to tick. Same thing applies on the point of sale section. Are they allowed to log in here, or they are not allowed? Are they allowed to do a void or not? So according to what you restricted them on, most of the functions won't work like this. You see, and the refund, I told it I want to refund, but it refused, saying supervisor over. So unless the supervisor is there to give permission for this refund, that's when it will work. Okay, so it's saying permission error, so we don't have the permission to do a refund on this particular user. So that's how you create security groups. And if you have any other queries or you didn't understand, you can leave your questions in the description below, and then we'll easily get back to you with a more descriptive way in case you never understood some parts of the video. Thanks for watching.